Ever since Oprah opened up this South African school for girls in 2007, all type of crazy, spooky, creepy, nasty stuff has been happening.
Then, in another incident that happened in 2011, law enforcement investigated the body of a newborn that was found in one of the students' bags.
I eat that. How old are you? 12. Oh, okay. Only to 10.
That's good. That's good.
Children and pineapple.
Pancake does have the consistency of young human flesh.
It's spongy, it has life to it.
You're with a guy with brightly colored undergarments, and you got soft human flesh in front of you. You're in a weird place.
I'm looking forward to this. This is really, really gonna be.
You know what the #1 job is for someone who sold their soul in Hollywood? Acting like it never happened. They all play the same game. Katt Williams was right all along, and he beat the feds to the punch when it came to exposing the celebrities who've been lying to our faces. Now that the Epstein files are out, we finally know which stars are in real trouble, even the ones people swore were innocent and harmless. Katt opened the floodgates when he sat down on Club Shay Shay, and from the looks of it, he's not slowing down anytime soon. When the Epstein files leaked, a lot of people went into denial. They didn't want to believe their favorite celebrities could be just as dirty as the politicians we've been side-eyeing for years. Take Jay-Z, for example. He was named in the files by an anonymous victim, but his fans insisted there was no way he was involved with Epstein, claiming the alleged assault happened in 1996, back when Jay was just starting his rap career. The woman said she woke up in a room with Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z, with Weinstein violating her, and reportedly, Pusha T was the one who set it all up. Now, even though many believe Jay was too new to the industry to be connected with these elites, that's not the full story. Yes, he was a rookie rapper in 1996, but that doesn't mean he didn't already have industry connections. Those are two very different things. In fact, based on how Jay-Z was moving back in '96 as a so-called young rapper, there are even videos of him with Weinstein where it looks like Weinstein is managing him or something.
Right, I'm saying, but these Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history, whether they were kings or what.
I wanted to be able to be in control so I could manage what was going to happen in their lives.
The queen of media herself, Oprah Winfrey, is finally next on the chopping block. And based on what's circulating, Oprah found out, or rather, she was exposed to how people really gain power in Hollywood. So what exactly does Oprah know? Does she have ties to the island? Was she a supplier? Is there really a dungeon she owns where sacrifices happen? Well, reportedly, Samuel L. Jackson has the answers.
I remember there was a sign on the wall in the Die Hard office that I never forgot. It said, "Be careful of the toes you step on today, for they could be connected to the you have to kiss tomorrow."
I'm sure he would know what goes on in those circles. He's been in the industry for nearly 5 decades, appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show multiple times, and has been seen at countless Hollywood events. Here's the thing, despite the massive amount of Epstein documents released by the courts in 2024 and 2025, Oprah's name doesn't appear as a co-conspirator or a passenger on his Lolita Express private jet. But Oprah's name did show up in the files. One reason is because Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, wrote to Epstein in 2011 asking for advice on an upcoming appearance on Oprah's show. There are other mentions I can't verify, like an alleged email from Deepak Chopra asking if he should invite Woody and Oprah. Then there's another email from a redacted source that reportedly said she's being protected under Oprah's wing after her interview. Oprah believes she had talent that could be used on her network. No one knew about it, and they were keeping it quiet until things cooled down. The leak supposedly came from former staff. She traveled to LA recently. Hope for the future, but we'll wait and see. Now, whether or not she was directly named by Epstein, what people have been saying is that Oprah was always close to people listed in the files. She's been photographed countless times over the years with disgraced figures accused of similar crimes: Harvey Weinstein, Diddy, John of God, Bill Cosby, and the list goes on. Critics argue that as one of the most powerful women in media, she must have known what was happening in those circles.
Let me just get real and say,
if I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
Well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who could move money around.
Right.
He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, you know, if you're state-funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and, you know, there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like... Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a construct. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap?
Yep.
So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman, I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s. Yeah. And she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are juggling around.
While he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously nerd fishing.
Some people believe she's just as dirty as everyone who's been implicated, and that she may have even been one of the suppliers. There have been accusations here and there about Oprah, including rumors that she was involved in the Wayfair scandal, allegedly selling furniture with missing persons' names attached at extremely high prices. Apparently, most of the cabinets were being sold for up to $10,000, and they had names linked to known missing people like Naria, Uritza, Sam, and Olivia. By paying $10,000, you weren't buying a cabinet, you were buying the person whose name was on it. Some people even said they were shopping on Wayfair years ago and saw terribly ugly vintage furniture, but didn't pay attention to the names. They were shocked anyone would pay $10,000 for it since the price was absurdly high. Shortly after, a woman came forward claiming she worked at Wayfair and that items priced higher were only handled by certain people in higher positions. Based on what was being said, the cabinets were being used for trafficking by people like Oprah. There were even rumors at one point that Oprah was under house arrest for illegally transporting missing people. However, Wayfair explained that these were heavy-duty industrial cabinets meant for schools or hospitals. When an item was nearly out of stock or there was a pricing error in the automated system, the algorithm would spike the price to discourage purchases while keeping the listing active for SEO purposes. They also said they used a huge database of common first names to label their products since it's easier than coming up with unique serial numbers for every item. Let's just say people had a hard time believing that explanation. To this day, they still think something shady was going on and that Oprah was involved. Add to that the fact that the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa did face a real sexual assault scandal in 2007. Oprah flew to South Africa immediately, apologized to the girls, and reportedly cleaned house. While the matron was later cleared of criminal charges, the incident is often cited as proof of something more sinister. Speaking of schools, does anyone know what happened to the kids who went missing from Oprah's school in Haiti? Very strange, right? Even though Oprah hasn't been directly named in the Epstein files, people still argue she's guilty by association. Think about it. Oprah was a close friend and supporter of so many disgraced celebrities before their downfalls. There are countless photos of them being very friendly because she was always in the same social circles as these men. Many believe she was involved in whatever they were doing. Like, are we supposed to think the woman who could sniff out a fake memoirist like James Frey from across a stage was somehow completely blind to Harvey Weinstein, despite being photographed glued to his side at every gala for 20 years? It's almost ironic that she spent decades telling us to trust our intuition and live our best lives, while her own gut apparently went on vacation every time she shared a private flight or front row seat with people who've since been exposed.
I was in the same tier, the same cell that Epstein was on, and Shug, there's no way in hell that that guy could have committed suicide on that tier. I was in there for 7 months. There's no way.
And coming from you, I know you didn't know the truth, and I personally didn't think he was going to commit suicide. But the thing is, he had from Oprah Winfrey to everybody on that island. You know, anybody with a weird fetish, and that's what underage kids was on that island. And everybody knew it.
How is it that everyone she likes and promotes has been tied to similar accusations? And honestly, if you think that's far-fetched, here's another example of someone Oprah heavily endorsed, Deepak Chopra, who's in the files. There's an email from Deepak to Epstein where he says, "I don't know, the tiger is taking me to places I had abandoned." It looks like the MGH, Harvard Chopra Mind Brain Institute, will actually exist, which means riding the tiger even more. I've wanted validation from scientists. Some is happening, and some will remain forever skeptical and condescending. Suddenly, it doesn't seem important. What do I want most? I don't know that I can fully articulate. My biological needs are met occasionally, but that too feels like I've been there, done that. I have 3 more books to write, and then I'll be done with that as well. I'll be going away for a week of silence at the end of this month with a small group. Maybe some clarity then. I definitely enjoy the company of younger, intellectually sharp, and self-aware women, and love connecting with them to inspire and excite them. Deepak gets mentioned a few times in the files, showing he was very much involved with Epstein, and several mentions include Oprah. So again, you can see why people believe she was clearly connected to the island or whatever was happening there. Obviously, many assume she's somehow involved, and she's been called out even by other celebrities. For instance, in 2018, after Oprah's historic Time's Up speech at the Golden Globes, Seal posted a photo of Oprah kissing Harvey Weinstein on the cheek, with a caption dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, I forgot that's right. You'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually assaulting young starry-eyed actresses. My bad." Number sanctimonious Hollywood. Seal was basically saying everyone in that inner circle heard the stories, and for someone of Oprah's stature to pretend she was just finding out seemed like calculated PR. Besides Seal, Rose McGowan, one of the main whistleblowers against Harvey Weinstein, also posted a photo of Oprah with Weinstein, calling her as fake as they come. "I'm glad more are seeing the harsh truth. Oprah, I wish she were real, but she isn't. She's as fake as they come." Also, in a 2017 lawsuit, actress Katie Noble claimed Harvey Weinstein used his connection with Oprah and Naomi Campbell to lure her. She said seeing Oprah on his arm at an event made her feel Weinstein was a safe, reputable person to be alone with. What this means is that Oprah's public friendship gave these men a stamp of approval they used to trap their victims. There was also Suge Knight, who claimed Barack Obama and T.D. Jakes went to Diddy parties and that Oprah was allegedly on Epstein's island.
Is human, and particularly Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.
He knew, Jazzo and Jay-Z were in London living it big time back in like 88. They were in this huge, I'm born and raised in England, and I never saw an apartment that looked like that in England, or a flat, as we call it. I've never seen that. They lived there for a little bit? They were there for like, I don't know, 5 months, something like that.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
Samuel L. Jackson is the next person expected to share what he knows about Oprah and her alleged ties to the island. For context, he's someone who's exposed the cynical business tactics and structural biases he says have plagued the industry from the inside for years. Having spent nearly 50 years in the business, Samuel L. Jackson has gone from a stage actor in the early 1970s to one of the highest grossing actors of all time, giving him a front row seat to Hollywood's history and its darker cycles. He's weathered the era of obvious studio gatekeeping, navigated his own publicized battle with addiction during the crack epidemic of the 80s, and successfully evolved from a token supporting actor to a power player who can dictate his own term. So if he says he knows what's going on, trust me, he knows.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living our people, so how the they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best hit for somebody else? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth about anything, go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars. Liars are now the face of our culture.
I know you all saw that. Rewatch it and tell me it doesn't look like Jay-Z was being handled by Weinstein. Go ahead, watch it. And to make things worse, multiple videos and photos surfaced of Jay-Z at 2 wild parties. One was a video I can't post here because of how explicit it is, but it's on Twitter if you really want to see it. Anyway, The video showed Jay-Z in a room with another man while 2 sex workers performed for them. The second batch of receipts was these photos of him and Harvey at Diddy's 29th birthday party. Not only that, but this video of Kanye exposing him and Pusha all the way back in 2018 resurfaced, and everything Kanye said still holds up today.
I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of sexual predators, and thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this. I mean, right now I stand with the victims. I can't, they're scarred for.
Like I said, Katt exposed a lot of them before, and now the files are basically confirming what he's been saying. In fact, Naomi Campbell is one of them, and as expected, people dragged her. She allegedly made 5 trips on the Lolita Express between 2001 and 2003. 2 were to the U.S. Virgin Islands, where Epstein owned his island, reportedly a site of depravity. A few of the flights went to Sao Paulo, Brazil.
And what do you think she gets out of it? Well, she gets money. When you bring models or people that can easily be manipulated, you get funded. You get funded. How does she own an island being a supermodel?
I didn't know she owns an island.
Yeah, she owns an island. But this is crime scene investigation.
Yeah.
But it opens your eyes to things that you never even thought of, and I connect all the dots slowly, but it all makes sense.
Do y'all remember when Bill Gates was asked on national television whether he regretted his association with Epstein? And he said this.
One of the issues that's dogged you is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that you're going way back in time, but yeah,
new audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Epstein had a way of really compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
There were multiple emails in the file showing her and Epstein apparently strategizing how to get records into the country for his infamous parties. These were referring to her and how she was supposedly going to serve him. Several videos of her recruiting models also went viral. And according to the streets, this model recruiting was actually just a cover for her to bring in more women for these industry predators.
Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right?
It was many things, but I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
And then there's Chris Tucker. His name also came up in Epstein's documents and flight logs because he reportedly flew on Epstein's private jet back in 2002. Yeah, the same plane Epstein used to go back and forth to his shady island. Chris and his team tried doing damage control by saying he was only on the plane for a humanitarian trip to Africa focused on AIDS awareness and charity work, along with former President Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, but nobody was buying it. And it doesn't help that he mentioned Bill Clinton, since we've all seen the new photos released of him visiting Epstein's estate. And listen, I think we can all agree he looked way too comfortable in there not to know what Epstein was up to. Mind you, Chris was around all these people while this was all going down.